Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Job Hunt LLC. I'm here, joined today here with, oh, come on, Mr. Dean Machine. Last time it was Dean Creatine. All right. Um, it looks like our VP is having a bit of an identity crisis, but it's okay. We let things like that slide at the Job Hunt LLC, soon to be corporation. In this capitalist fuck up we call America. It seems as though the Job Hunt LLC is thriving, right? We already hired our first candidate yesterday, Woozy, and while he was mopping the floor today, he killed a cockroach. Due to this event, Dean and I have met and discussed the outcomes, and we'll be speaking to Woozy shortly after this about a raise. We'll give him a raise. Uh, However, it was stated in our schedule today that we have another interview that we have to complete before we talk to Woozy. So I pulled up the resume and after looking at this man's resume, we're absolutely baffled. You know, we have never seen a man more all over the place than this guy, but it's in a good way, right? Because we can say safely that he knows everything that he's doing. Like he's really good at everything that he's doing in all of the different places that he hits. He was in his resume he said he was an Apple representative or something, or an Apple specialist, something like that. He was the president of the music industry club at Arizona State. He's a producer, an engineer, a singer, rapper, the list goes on. And so I would now like to introduce our guest to the spot. Welcome to the spot, Rozotadi. How are you doing?
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to have this interview. Rozotadi, baby. That's what they call me, Rozotadi.
Very well. And to show everyone that I don't just interview anyone that I could find, I decided to wear something special today.
Yes.
It's the
Rozotadi has a big head.
it's that Rozotadi has a big head shirt that I purchased. Um, is there anywhere that you can purchase a shirt from? Is there like a link or anywhere that you want to plug really quick before we start?
Yeah, rozotadi.com. ROZOTADI.com, baby.
We're gonna start the interview off very strong and very general. Rozotadi, the first question we have for you here today is we would like you to tell us about yourself.
Yeah, well, where do I start? There's a lot there.
You start wherever your heart desires. Whatever you feel is the most important things about you, we want to hear those first. I feel like those are going to be the most valuable for the company.
Right off the top of your head.
Yeah, well, I'm a pretty motherfucker. I don't wear clothes, I wear opportunities. I enjoy the company of amazing individuals. I enjoy long walks to the refrigerator. Uh, I've actually just gotten the hang of grocery shopping not too long ago, and that's been a very humbling experience. I don't know if you've ever been to a dude's crib, but the refrigerator is not that good. Um, I make a lot of different music. I work with a lot of different people. I tell stories through various different mediums. Uh, I'm a master's student in innovation and venture development. My whole thing is leave your heart with the art and your head with everything else.
Amazing words coming out of Rozotadi's mouth right now. The first question I have about what you just said, have I ever been to a dude's crib before? I can safely say yes, I have been to a dude's crib before, and actually my own crib is the refrigerator is lacking. Dean,
I can vouch for that. His refrigerator is indeed lacking.
Dean's refrigerator is not lacking though.
It's
Dean's
because I get hungry all
refrigerator
the time.
is stacked to the brim with shit to eat.
As it should be. Nourish your body. Hydrate, don't dehydrate.
You have to eat and drink water. You have to
Yes.
drink water
You
specifically.
have, yeah.
I like your glasses.
Thank you. You couldn't be the only one.
Ah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Well, we're already liking you here at the Job Hunt LLC. Dean,
Yeah, so we're happy to have you here, Rozotadi. But enough about me, even though I said like 2 things so far. Tell us about you. Tell us some of your hobbies.
Yeah, I mean, just piggybacking off of the previous question, I like adventuring, like having a camera, popping up in a random city or a town, and just taking photos, seeing the way that the light caresses the subject.
What's
Caresses
your
the.
favorite city that you've taken photos at?
I would have to say it's between Seattle. It's Seattle. It has to be one of
Seattle.
my favorite cities. Yeah.
What makes it so special? Because I'm from LA. Like I lived in LA for a really long time, and I loved like the aesthetic of LA a lot. And I've been to a bunch of other cities as well. Like I just recently went to Omaha, and I was disgusted. Um, and I have this mindset. I feel like where it's like I feel like there's no city better than LA. So what makes Seattle stand out to you the most?
Well, one thing for sure, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. And so being a metropolis, you get a different taste for what a city could be, right?
Right.
Especially coming from a bicentennial city. So Phoenix is very young and the architecture is saying different things. It has to work with the heat.
Right.
LA, it's had a lot of time to develop and be a leading figure in the nation, but that motherfucker ugly as hell.
That's
Like,
very true. I can stand behind that statement. It's everything like on the beach is fine. It sometimes
which
and
beach? Because the beaches be bummy, bro.
all of them except Santa Monica Pier. Santa Monica Pier, personal favorite. A lot of people's personal favorites. I don't think it's as bummy at Santa Monica Pier as it is literally everywhere else.
Right. Well, in the same breath, though, I think that the peninsulas are very beautiful over in LA County and all that shit. But if I'm being honest, Seattle and like Chicago, those are the two like other cities that I visited that are like multi-level. Like you got 3, 4 stories stacked on itself. You could go underground, get away from the cold, and woo woo woo. It's that kind of multi-layered character that really gets me going in this city.
Right. It has like a lot of versatility.
Right. While LA is just like, oh, there's money everywhere, even in places you don't even recognize, like you wouldn't guess. Like that's cool. Like if you open up a door, all of a sudden you're in a multi-million-dollar studio and it looked like the boonies from outside. Okay, cool, but
Hey, that's true. That's true.
yeah.
Where did we go? No, that was in Nebraska. That was actually I could add this about like things looking like shit from the outside but being really cool on the inside. We actually went to like this statue place in Omaha where like okay, so you walk in and it looks like shit from the outside, like you were saying, but there's like plants all around you, and like in the middle is all the planets, and like on the outside it's all like the zodiac signs. It's supposed to like
Mhm.
symbolize the whole universe, but they're all statues, and the statues are all of like faces of like men that are like really deformed. And I'm just
Why
like,
the
damn,
fuck were you in Omaha?
why wasn't I in Omaha?
Okay,
You know what there
all
is to
right.
do in Omaha? You know how many
The
things
fuck
there is to do in Omaha?
two.
Correct. Correct.
That's facts. Yeah, no, I was there because like my friend's family lives there. We wanted to check it out. I've never been there. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I can't just take everyone's word on the fact that it's ass, but now I went there and I can conclude, that it's ass. But there isn't shit to do there. But University of Nebraska and Lincoln, Nebraska, fire. I've never seen
You
a
took
place
some
more
pictures.
liberal.
You put something on Instagram about that, right?
My
You
recruitment
were
photos.
Yeah. What was that all about? See, I got to get to know the employer.
Right. So my friend's like in touch with the coach, and he was like, yeah, if you guys want to take recruitment photos, a lot of people visiting are doing that, and you can get them done. So we're like, all right, bet. And they had the best camera staff, they had the best editors. Um Actually the guy, his name is Aura. Shout out to Aura if he's watching this. Um he was the one that like shot all the pictures in front of like the big TV screen that the football players stand in front of. And then he took us out into the football stadium. So that was one of the like pretty big reasons we went. But a lot of it was just go somewhere new, check it the fuck out,
Right.
Crazy thought. But besides photography, are there any like cities that you like going to for like non-photography wise, or are they both like in the same like category for you?
TBH, I want to go to more cities just off of the weight of going to more cities,
Right.
I've been to a lot of different places, been to St. Louis, you know, I already told you Chicago, been to Long Beach and, Tacoma, Olympia, Dallas. The list goes on, baby. But I personally, I'm ready to get out the country. Finna take this little Euro trip. It's gonna be nice, gonna be refreshing. Be all right.
Right. Countries. Would you ever go to Armenia?
I actually met this Armenian nationalist who works under the Minister of Finance. And the way he described it and the way that the current government has a chokehold on the people, I'd go there, but I wouldn't stay there for a prolonged amount of time. It seems like we have a lot of misogynists and radical nationalists, running rampant around there, especially what happened with the Azerbaijani situation. I would love to go see and immerse myself in the culture. I love Little Armenia out California. Like that's one of
Right.
my favorite places. But staying there for a prolonged period of time, I don't know. I'd love to be immersed in it though.
Enough on the cities, enough on the whole traveling the world thing, because we know, Mr. Rozotadi, that you fully immerse yourself into culture, into music, into sound, into art in general, and you're all over the place. So let's talk about that. What makes you like when you make music, because you're known very well for your music, what makes you like release a song that you want to release? Is it like about like is it like what you want to release, or do you have like a target demographic that you're trying to reach out to?
It's ever changing, it's ever evolving, like with Bighead's Guide to the Galaxy. I definitely wanted to work out. Like I wanted to
Bless
I
you.
definitely wanted to thank you. I definitely wanted a body of work out. But at the same time, there was this story yearning to be told within inside me. There was this this thing, this burning passion that said, work, 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 get it out, tell this
Right.
story, coming of age. But 2 years later, which is I finished that project exactly 2 years later, had it mastered and all that. And I was brewing to start the Kickstarter around this time 2 years ago as well.
What's the Kickstarter all about for the people that don't know?
Yeah, so the Kickstarter was accompanied the release of Bighead's Guide to the Galaxy Volume 1, my debut EP, and that basically allowed the post-production process to be funded by the $10,000 we sought to gain. And we ultimately did win that money. And, we put it towards other various places to get the career popping. And so, yeah. But now my criterion for releasing music, and, lately it's been a lot based off of my collaborators. My collaborators have been that extra little jolt with Sean, excuse me, sick. So with Sean J, with Sean J, it was me and Charlie. Charlie had sent me an instrumental called "Getting Settled In," and as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Yes." That's usually how our Tuesdays go. I see Charlie Mumbles every Tuesday, and he plays me what he's been making, and I'm like, hey yo."
It's usually some like
Cinnamon.
really like some fire shit, I'm assuming, like usually something like
Oh yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. You got to hold off on that word amazing because that'll blind you in this industry. So what happened was as soon as I took it home, I instantly just like I lived with the instrumental. Before I knew it, I was writing.
Right.
Everything was coming out, and then there was another beat that he had sent me as well. That motherfucker, oof, was great. And then I started, so I was already speaking in French on the Changer beat. I was like, yo, homie, low. I just did some crazy shit. And then to add on top of that, I was writing this other joint. I had like Ari Lennox on it, woo, woo, woo. The lyrics just came falling out. And before I knew it, I was pacing back and forth on this dirt road over in Central Phoenix, just writing the lyrics out. I was like 45 minutes deep. I had 2 songs. I was like, whoa, I was in it. And as soon as I sent him the song after I recorded it, he was like, we're releasing this ASAP. And so lo and behold, we released that joint. We released it in April, just boom. It was just one of those moments where we knew and we got it out.
Right. And it's an amazing project too, like honestly. Just amazing work.
Little round of applause.
Thank y'all. So yeah, Changer, I don't know if you know what it's about, but do y'all know what it's about? What y'all get from it if y'all have heard it?
It's your interpretation, honestly. I couldn't make anything of it. That's just because I'm slow with music in general. I have to look at lyrics at least like 20, 30 times to actually like get a story out of it.
Right. Okay, well.
So what would you say is like the best interpretation, or what your interpretation was of it? I know a lot of artists, they like to release music and have it be like you interpret it the way you want it to, but deep down there's a meaning, there's a reason you wrote this, there's a reason you like wrote it, you know. So what would you say yours is?
I would have to say it's just change. Don't come running after me when I change, and don't come running after nobody else. You need to change. That change happens intrinsically. And one of the last thing my ex had said to me in person was, "This is a boundary you don't cross." So
Why
I
did she
made
say
that.
that?
Don't worry about that.
Sounds good. Dean?
But,
All good. So,
but yeah.
I didn't mean to like dig into your business there. That was my fault.
No, you're all good. You're all good. You just have to be very clear with your boundaries. And that was her moment to be very clear with hers. And I had the biggest smile on my face because I knew that in the process of her, like in result of her boundaries feeling like they were crossed, my boundaries were ultimately the ones that were stepped on, spat on, and so forth. So all I could do was just smile when she felt like she could voice that this is a boundary you don't cross. Because It's like the whole montage, the 2x speed montage has happened in my head. And I said,
oh, God.
Okay. Okay.
The worst feeling.
Again.
The worst feeling.
Yeah, but I was happy as shit because I stood up for myself.
Yeah, that's all that matters in the end. Your self-protection, mental health.
I stood up for myself. So hearing that, I was like, okay. And so that was one of the first things. That was the first thing I said in English on that song is, "This is a boundary you don't cross. Guns pointed on both ends. What if bullets talk?" So yeah.
Wow. It's really like we were talking about this. Sorry to cut you off. I know you have a question loaded, but we were talking about this in the last interview with Woozy, and a lot of what Woozy was saying is that he hates to rap about shit that didn't happen, right? Like everything is like a real life experience, or it's based off of a real life experience. He says like it's like amplified, but it all comes like from like something that actually happened. So the stepping the boundaries thing, the fact that you got that from an actual like verbal scripture and incorporated it into your song is really impressive and very bold also.
Yeah, I mean that's the truth. Like so I made 5 demos a week for 12 weeks at the beginning of this year. So from January to March, I was in it, beating my meat in the studio, you feel me? And so I ultimately came out as a different artist. I came out as a petty sexy daddy. So I'm to make all that music, I had so much to say because I didn't record a whole lot of songs in 2021. And the
Right.
ones that I did record had a lot of meat to them, had so much meat to them. But when you bust out 5 songs
Something
in a
comes out.
week,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have a lot of time to just microanalyze a lot of shit. What you have time for is telling a story, appreciating it, and telling another one. Appreciating it, telling another one, telling another one, telling another one.
So would you
It's a
say
big-
like for an artist that's like just starting off, that's a really good way to go about it? Like a really good way to like make the music?
Fuck if I know. There's so many different ways to start off. This is just one way that helped an artist that's been doing this for 11 years
Right.
digitally to get the job done. You know, it allowed new ideas to arise. So one thing that I used to tell people in the music industry club whenever they would hit blocks, right? Writer's block or producer block or whatever it may be, I'd be like, hey, go outside and live some life. Go fall in love and fall out. Go do whatever you need to go do because it's going to happen, and then bring that back to the studio. And lo and behold, for 2 years after that project, I lived a whole lot of life, fell in love, fell out of love, and
Right.
every which thing, you know, had paradise studio sessions and, you know, got on the radio and different shit like that. And then before I knew it, January 1st of this year, first 2 hours, I said, boom, I created a song. And the next day, another one. 2 days later, another one. The next day, another one, another one. And just kept happening. And before I knew it, at the end of those 3 months, I had a new project.
Right.
Wow. So that kind of brings me to my next question is, so you say like in order to kind of help you like create music, you just have to go out there and experience life. But do you find like a specific, type of like environment that you immerse yourself in to help you like, best create like a project or a song or?
An environment like that, I guess I would just start from an easy answer of saying staying away from dull ass environments. Like, there's a reason why I don't work a 9 to 5 in a fucking office.
Right.
I can't sit still for the life of me. I got sex jokes all in my head. I got dick jokes and all kinds of crazy shit happening in my head. I see the world completely fucking differently from the next person. I'm so far away from the normal experience at this point. You might as well give me a face tattoo out of being an honorary member of being fucked up. Personally, I think that, the best environments is just being present. Like, even if I am in a dull environment, like how I was last Friday in a facilitator workshop, being a bad bitch with a whole bunch of directors and assistant directors over at ASU, getting certified in a leadership methodology, those are bad bitches in that room. That doesn't take away from the fact that I'm a bad bitch. That means that there's something that there I could learn. And from that experience, I have a little bit more insight on all the bad bitches in that room who go get the job done. Like,
Right.
what do they like? What kind of coffee does old girl like? And then when I'm making music, I can think about her experience, right? I can think about these boss lady experiences. So there's inspiration from every fucking where. I've been saying this for the last 11 years in all the interviews. I get inspiration from a fucking pig, but that's to say the least, right? So
Yeah.
you gotta find those environments for yourself, because someone as seasoned as me, I could look at a chair and be like, damn, baby, damn.
I could
And
write
then
an
before I
entire scripture about you, a stanza.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they teach you in high school when you're doing poetry. It's like, look at this rock and describe the grooves and the holes in the rocks, and then personify that into the void of your soul. Boom. What's fucking happening right now? You fucked up your whole existence.
Exactly.
It has to be like that.
Is there anything that you wouldn't get inspiration from, or what like anything you would refuse to get inspiration from? as much as you said you can get inspiration from literally anything, is there anything you would never want to be inspired by?
Dude, no. Like, no. Like, unfortunately, like, I watch porn, right? I've
Right.
seen some horrible things on porn. I know I don't get off on it, but I've still seen it. So
Right.
I know what I don't like, and even that in itself is inspiration to go find what I like. So like I just don't click on the things that
You don't like.
right, you
Yeah.
know, and I think the same thing for like inspiration. It's like I studied global studies in university for my undergraduate, right? And
Right.
so I studied international law, truth and reconciliation, and all that shit. So firsthand, I haven't seen a mutilated body, but I've seen all the videos and documentaries, the court cases, all kinds of different shit on genocide and so forth. Even that holds some sort of weight in my creative career, you know, even as a leader. So it's like everywhere is an outlet for a new possibility to grow and change the world.
Right.
Right. It's kind of like that whole idea of like duality, you know, like kind of like what you were saying with like something that you like or don't like. Like you may not like something, but that doesn't mean it's not of importance, you know? Because
Right.
if you don't like something, or there has to be things that you don't like in order for you to like other things, you know, just kind of on a broad scope.
Yeah, I don't like Triple X Tentacion. That dude was not a good person, but I understand the value that he brought to so many people's lives. I'd be a damn fool if I closed off my eyes to that experience. If I closed down my senses to the experience that happened with that phenomenon, I'd be stupid.
Right. And I think that's objectively one of like the best personality factors to have. Everyone's a different person, but I think like to be able to open yourself to a bunch of new experiences and a bunch of new inspirations is one of the most important things you could do. I see motherfuckers on Twitter saying, "Oh, you like J. Cole? J. Cole's like ass," or like, "Oh, like you like Ken Carson? Ken Carson's ass." It's like trying to like influence other opinions into you, but they're completely closed off to the idea of even trying to listen to them and trying to see like, oh, like maybe I do like this artist. You know, it's like they have an opinion that was told to them, and that's what they're following.
Right. Personally, I'm at a place right now in my life, my career. I don't care about opinions.
Right.
So like platforms like Twitter are so irrelevant to my experience.
They're
Like,
just completely like off the grid for you. Like you don't use them at all.
no, no. Like I use Instagram for business and you know to stay the slither of connected to the people I care about, you know, as yourself and other people, you know, in my sphere. But other than that, it's art and education from what I'm looking for from my platforms. If I want to numb my brain, I go on Reddit and I only give
Dang.
Reddit a small slither of my time. But I don't like opinions. I don't care for them. It feels kind of stupid to immerse myself in someone else's opinion. And I'm saying that as someone who is on YouTube so much. But this is like me declaring that all this shit is short lived in my life. Like, I feel like everything that I'm doing right now in my career, in my life, is to slowly inch away from those platforms because we gave them so much in the 2010s. I'll be damned if I give them another 10 years.
Right.
I don't want to give these motherfuckers another 10 years of information of my life, of all this shit. Like, oh my God, I did not have a career like this so I could just be on social media. That's what they say a fucking independent artist is, oh, well, you have to have an Instagram or you have to do TikTok and blah, blah, blah. No, your career is what you fucking make it. I don't need to do anything
Right.
but put food on my fucking table, pay
Exactly.
off my fucking student loan debt. I don't, there's just a level of this shit that we do not have to participate in. And the sooner that we can realize that we've had corporations and society pressuring us to participate in something that we do not have to participate in, the faster we can begin to live the lives that we deserve to live in this informational age with the entire world at our fingertips.
Yep. And I want to kind of bring that section to an end, just because I know this is a great segue into our next section. The album. We briefly talked about the album, and we briefly talked about, you know, like the kind of like the production of it and like what it meant here and there. But we didn't get specific, and I think getting specific about albums is one of the best things you can do about an album, really being able to break it down and digest it into a way that, you know, like you can understand it and you could form your own opinions on it. I know you said you don't care about opinions, but like you still have them, of course. Like a way to like form your own experiences from the album. And the first question I have about your album is, you know, Armani, your song Armani. It's, you know, it's an amazing song, but personally, it's my favorite song of yours. So I want to know more about that song and the creation of that song. Like, what was your inspiration about it? What was the meaning?
Yeah. So there is some information about it online on YouTube, and this is one of those stories that, you know, I don't want to keep telling again,
Right.
because it's very deep. It's I broke down the lyrics and the other various aspects of the song, but it, you know, it came from me and my ex watching our friend die in front of us. Her name was Armani, and yeah, that's where the inspiration came from.
Right.
And then it later evolved into, you know, owning your identity. Oh, girl having such a strong identity, it's like she wants you to follow her. Woo, woo, woo. Like it's like tongue in cheek at times, but then also wildly wildly fun and aggressive, and you know, so it's a roller coaster ride that ultimately got evolved into a story that housed sisterhood and the visual representation of the music video.
Right. Right. I that's honestly my fault. I have not seen any of the breakdown about it, but I know personally I'm gonna watch that breakdown and like read more in on that information. You know, because
Thank you.
it's one of my favorite songs. I don't recall, because I know the first time I saw you perform live, I've seen you perform live probably what, 4 times now, 3 times. It's 3 times. The second time I went and got the shirt and the CD. CD played great, by the way, in my CD player. But the first time I saw you was in the student pavilion at ASU, and I'm not sure if you played that song, but I had a hell of a fucking time at that concert.
That was Student Pavilion. That was Battle of the Bands round
Yep.
one. Was that 2018 or 19?
It was 19.
Or so 19, not 20. Okay. So 19. That was when I was still with Room 4, huh?
I was very I'm not sure.
Might have been 2020. If you
Well,
might have
I
been
was a
2020.
freshman the 19 to 20 year, so it could have been 2020.
Oh, it was
I don't remember
2020.
I don't remember
Okay,
the
it was
exact
2020.
time. Like if
Okay,
it was like
okay.
November, yeah.
All right. Please continue.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? So speaking of songs, so like obviously on Bighead's Guide to the Galaxy Volume 1, you have like some of the songs that are actually numbered. So like 1, Where Are You? 2, YAKK, and then you have like 3, No Go, and then 4, Out. So what did the numbers actually mean, or like the Roman numerals?
Right. Did you listen to the EP? I'm asking this sincerely. Like, did you get a chance to listen to the EP?
The new one?
Bighead's Guide to the Galaxy.
I think so. Is it on Spotify?
Yeah.
I listened, but it was very just brief. I kind of just like washed over it, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I think
Right.
it was very
Okay.
brief.
Okay. So because the reason why I ask is I want to get y'all's like why about it, right? Because it's interpretive. Same.
Right.
I was dating a postmodern interpretive dancer at the time, so everything flowing through us was interpretive, right? And so those little chunks right there, those chapters, those moments, those
Yeah.
skits,
They could be
you know,
anything you make
they're
them out to be.
right. It's about where you take them, because I cannot sit here and tell you what they are. I can tell you when they are.
Uh-huh. So
That's it.
I think like when I see albums that have divisions as such in their music, or the two eyes, three eyes, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's more of like an emotion separator, if you can agree with me on that. Like there's a part of it where, oh, like you feel this certain emotion. There's a part of it where you feel this certain emotion. Because when I listen to your album, that's what I felt. I felt as though like the divisions in the album, like I felt different listening to the songs in between each one. It reminded me a lot of like Because the Internet by Childish Gambino
Right.
and how he did
Right.
that.
I mean, if you want a technical answer, the technical answer is that they're very good transitionary effects. That's the technical answer.
Oh, okay.
The abstract conceptual, we need to get more nitty gritty into where it hit you, and that's the starting point that I'll go. But other than that, I can't say any more on it, other than it moved the story forward. It helped thicken the plot and create another dimension to the auditorial experience.
Yes, and that, like I think that's like a really good thing about albums, the fact that you can interpret them however the fuck you want to. Have you listened to Is He Real by IDK, that album?
No, just songs off of it.
The album on its own, like listening to it front to back, which I did a lot, and I think Dean also did quite a few times. Me and Dean have completely subjective opinions on it. Like mine doesn't match his whatsoever.
That's very true.
But that's like when we listen to the music, we're able to like either solidify our opinions more the more we listen to it, or see how like different parts of the songs that we may not have noticed previously can manipulate our opinions on that album. And I feel like with your album, the more you listen to it, the more it kind of like changes. And that's why we were asking you that question, because honest to God, we don't fucking know. Right.
Right.
And that's the goal you were going for.
Give me something to work off from y'all. Right. Don't make me be the point, the lead. Like, so you listen to it on the CD and all that, but like, where did you find yourself in it?
Where in the album?
Oh. Well, I mean, if you want like, again, if you want like a technical answer, okay, I guess not like a technical answer, more of like an opinion. I really like the song like Black Ceiling. I love that song. I love Bighead, obviously, like the title song pretty much. Those songs like really resonated with me personally.
I still think Armani is the best song performed live. I know that's completely off topic, but I love when that song comes on.
Well, you love live performances.
I love live performances. That's
in
what
general,
I do.
Yeah.
But regardless, Armani, one of my favorite songs. Well, like it just, there's so much shit that happens in that song. I feel like because you as a producer, you know how to like make people confused when they're listening to your music. Not confused in the sense of like, oh, like what is this? Like what's going on? More confused in the sense of like, okay, I was just listening to something and now I'm listening to something completely different. So those are the songs where I feel like I tune in the hardest.
Right. To launch off of that, 2 points. So the whole arrangement aspect that you talk about with my production, and then also just like the vibes of the songs. So my goal after creating that EP, because it's not an album, not there yet. The goal to creating the EP, after creating the EP, was I wanted to hone in on the vibe that happens after Yak.
Mhm.
So that vibe, it was took place at nighttime, and there were more purple tones and gray tones and red tones and so forth. And so with that, I started to develop that sound, kind of leaving behind the sound of Jiggalate and Armani and Black Ceiling and Selfless, and going down the route of the second half. And with that, that led me to all the new music that I've created. But to hit back on that tone of that production style that I flexed on Armani and many of the other tracks, that style has then went into my vocal production, where because I'm now offboarding a lot of the heavy production weight to my peers during this year, it's given me more brain capacity to focus and hone in on my vocal performance and my vocal production.
Right.
And so with that, I've been doing a lot of heavy hitting in the studio, bringing what made the production style of Armani special into my vocal performance and production in a new category. And so that's one of the biggest things that I'm excited for the world to have once the new budgets get acquired and so forth, is that that where the fuck am I at? Oh my God, there's 13 different flows on this song.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That is what I'm bringing in a lot of different facets in this next chapter.
That's amazing. Now, I really quickly wanted to like kind of just like derail, and I have a question for myself and for the people in the audience that are also watching that might be interested. I also produce my own music. I use FL Studio and I partially use Ableton. They are two really big, main, well-known DAWs, but there is a million other ones out there. Not everyone uses the same ones. Not everyone uses FL Studio or Ableton. And I know that you are the MPC god. You are the MPC god. You know what the fuck you're doing on an MPC. So what physically do you use to make your music?
So I use FL Studio. I've been using that since 2014. And I use the MPC Live 2, and I use a Prophet
Really?
Rev 2. Yes.
You're the only person I've met that uses MPC Live 2. I don't know if I'm just like out of the loop or if it's just like a rare thing to use. But how would you say that like affects your music on like a technical standard?
On a technical standard, I get to twist knobs. So the Prophet and the MPC, those motherfuckers are like butter with each other. They can say so much, do so much. You're not sitting over here with the Prophet. You're not over here doing clicks so you can automate what you want to fucking automate. You're twisting knobs and clicking buttons, and that knob turn is how you automate, and you record that in through the audio, and different shit like that. And so it's way more tactile experience, the kind of music that you're creating, and those happy accidents become personality characteristics. That's what I've really been enjoying in this new phase. So that was one thing that happened after Bighead's Guide to the Galaxy. I knew that as soon as I finish this, I'm going to want fresh ideas and new experiences in my artistic journey. So I then began to immerse myself in other production styles and other facets of music history. So I then took a departure from being completely immersed in the DAW experience, like Ableton, Logic, and FL Studio. And so with that, I worked with a couple of old heads who put me on to different like hardwares And it ultimately took me down that rabbit hole into getting an MPC Live, and then eventually an MPC Live 2 and a Prophet Rev 2. And I integrate those two so they can talk to each other. And then I integrate the three between FL Studio, the MPC, and the Prophet. And
Right.
so I've created a really nice harmony in my studio.
Do you also use FL Studio for mixing and, I mean, not so much mixing, but like mastering?
So I use FL Studio for mixing and mastering, but one thing that was really important with the MPC was I needed to do everything that I could do on the FL Studio in the MPC. So I've just spent the last 2 years becoming a maximalist user of the Akai MPC.
Right.
Wow.
Is it the MPC that you used on stage in your most recent performance on June 16th, the El Desertio concert?
Yes, so that was the MPC Live 2. And so with that, I was outboarding my vocals. I was having auto-tune run on it, and then at some points I had reverb run on it. And so it's just a multi-iterative science experiment, working with that and putting it on the main stage. And as a maximalist user, I have so much feedback that I'm going to give Akai after using it on the stage and using it in the studio. I feel like I have a very special use case that, you know, I'm ultimately going to spread to the world. So
Right.
hopefully a sponsorship comes out of it, you know?
That's just insane. So we've talked about the physicals of the album. You do have a CD for the album, which I highly suggest everyone watching buy a fucking CD. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't buy a CD. If you don't have a CD player, why not? Why don't you have a CD player? If you do have a CD player, you can buy a CD and play the fucking CD on your CD player. I mean, I feel like it's
CDs
that
are
easy.
still cool.
I
CDs are
have a
still cool.
collection. I mean, like I still like also like use CDs, not as much as I use streaming, obviously, but like I still use them when I get the chance to. But I want to talk about your personals. Like, what do you think is the actually, let me just ask you this. What's your favorite song on the entire album? Like objectively, like what would you say is like the best song in your opinion on the album?
My favorite song
EP.
on the EP would
Sorry.
have to be there's different favorites for a reason, but man, that bad boy, that one's different. Like production wise, that's a whole different bag. Like when you dive deep into what makes bad boy, you wow. Like as a music producer, that is unequivocally one of the best like instrumentals, one of the best like sonic stories
Right.
like to come out of the Southwest. And the reasoning why I feel that way is because it's just there, the push, the pull, the up, the down, the peak, the valley, and the exposition. It takes you to a place like I didn't fully understand how to appreciate that song. And so once I really gave this EP to the world and I saw what people latched on to, and then even most recently after the 16th show, my boy LaRoche posted some lyrics in one of the comment sections. He said, "Bad boy, schizoid, simulated decoy, exploit." And those are lyrics from my second verse. And I'm just like, what the fuck was I on? And it made me think about how you get to a point in this shit where you go so deep, you don't even understand how shit was conjured,
Right.
but it's fucking there and you accept it. That's what happened with Black Ceiling. I ain't never made a fucking song like Black Ceiling before, anything like that. And it's rough around the edges, but god damn it, I fucking did it. And what is that shit?
Yeah.
What is Jiggleate? Tripping fucking balls made Jiggleate. And I just, it was one of those moments where I was pacing around in a circle and I was just writing. And then I came back to the crib. I had pulled a fucking all-nighter, fucking 27-hour all-nighter. I had made that song and I just stood back and was like, what the fuck? So it's crazy how it all works out.
Exactly. Now, I think this is the fun part in the entire interview where me and Dean like to play a special game. We played this very briefly with Woozy yesterday, but I don't think Woozy understood the instructions, so I'm gonna make them very clear this time around. The game doesn't have a name, but basically what we're gonna do is me and Dean are gonna alternate. We're gonna list off different types of cars, and you're gonna tell us which one of your songs would sound best in that car. Like if you're like in a Ferrari, for example, versus if you're in a smart car, for example. So we're gonna throw you the car, you're gonna throw us a song. All right, you ready for that?
I'm ready. Does it have to be off the EP or can it be from my own collection?
Any song in your collection,
Bet.
Any song.
anything works.
Do I describe the why or do I just name the name?
Describe the why if you want.
Okay.
If you
All right.
if you feel like it. All right, Dean, start us off.
All right, so first up, we got a let me see here. Oh, we got a Ferrari California convertible.
Ferrari California convertible. It's gonna
Yes,
have
sir.
to be. It's gonna have to be Changé down the Pacific
Dang.
Highway.
Ooh, interesting.
I was really expecting you to say bad boy just because it's riding around town with my windows down, hair, hair blowing in the wind.
Let's reserve that for the mass population. You know.
Okay,
Let's
I
reserve
got
that for the
you.
mass population.
I got you. I got you.
What if you were whipping really fucking fast in a Fiat? Fiat fucking 500.
Whipping really fucking fast in the Fiat.
As fast
I
as
have
that
this-
thing goes.
I have this song called COINTELPRO. Bass is heavy. I heard they got really nice speaker systems. So you just boom, the little car, big bass, like rocking the streets.
Yeah. All right, Dean, hit us.
All right, how about okay. Brand new Cadillac Escalade.
Brand new Cadillac Escalade. I got this one joint called Envie de Noir. And it's just really introspective. Drums is all jazzy and nice. Drum fills. It's cool. It would be that.
Oh, okay. I
Real
like that. I
smooth,
like
lean
that.
back. Probably got a cigar, something in your mouth. Yeah.
All right. Well, what if you were whipping in a Jeep Wrangler? And I'm not talking about the current Jeep Wranglers. I'm talking about like some Jeep Wrangler from the 80s or the fucking 90s.
Ooh, that gives me like an orange kind of like idea, like orange color. So I'm it's gonna have to be like Armani, like Jiggle kind of situation. You could even rope in like one of my new joints. No, Armani Jiggle. Let's keep it at that.
All right. Thanks for participating in that game. You did a very, very good job. Very all off the top. And I wanted to ask you about something that I feel like artists may like talking about or may not like talking about. I know we're gonna have this interview with Function Space on the 26th, and we're gonna ask him this question, and he's gonna have a very happy answer about it, but I don't know. You never know. Your song options, me and Dean are very avid users of Spotify. And on Spotify right now, options is your most popular song. Not the highest stream song, but it's that number one song on your list. What are your thoughts on that being the number one song as opposed to another song? Or like why you think it's just like a good fit in general, or if you don't think it's a good fit?
You know, the funny thing is that my catalog, like right now, you're looking at my account with zero marketing dollars. Somehow people are still coming back. I'm getting like 19 listens. There's 19 human beings listening a day type shit, or whatever the fuck it may be. That's cool as shit. You know, as a businessman, when I look at those numbers, when I see what's number one right now with zero promotion, I've been out of the Spotify game for a long time. That shows me that that song still has mass appeal. I made that song 4 years ago. I released it 2 years ago.
Right.
Like that song is that song. So once budget starts coming through, distribution deal, whatever it may be, I have all the data to like just target that motherfucker and make that shit get the attention it deserves. Because if Arizona loves it this much, you know, imagine what the world's going to do with it. Imagine what the movies are going to do with it. It's a great song.
I'm sorry, I was muted. It's crazy, but I really do like that song. I could see the mass appeal to the song, and my favorite part of the song on like a technical is I think it's after the second verse where there's like a switch up or like what seems like it's gonna be like a fake switch up, but then it just goes back to like the regular beat that we were on. That's genius because every time I've produced a beat, it's been like I'm gonna put a switch up in there, and I swear to God, it's gonna sound like something different. But I've never seen like the near switch up back to the same beat. That just like it puts you on like a different level. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, and I'm not gonna hold you. It's gonna sound kind of like humble or pretentious or whatever word people put on it, but I just really be producing and I just really like do what my heart says. You know, I just love to leave my heart with the art and those switch ups. I've made a lot of bad switch ups, but every now and again you get a switch up like Options, our Bad Boy, our Armani, and it just fucking goes. You just got to go with it.
Right.
It's gonna take you there, but you'll be okay. You know.
I mean, there's different parts that of songs that make up the song, so that's not the only thing that's important in a song ever. You know, like there's maybe verse one is like really standoutish, or like there's a like the outro is really standoutish as well. So like, yeah, I could stand with you behind that.
Dang. I was gonna ask, so I know you talk about like what is it? You know, like signing or anything like that. Would you ever join a label?
Um, you know, the numbers and ownership have to make sense, but I don't see why not. You know, like I said, numbers and ownership needs to make sense. Uh, that's really like the only thing to it because I'm a venture capitalist. So when it comes down to it, if I'm going out and getting money, all that shit needs to make sense. The issue is in the music and entertainment industry is that you know you have a lot of people, different people who don't know what the fuck they're getting into, who make amazing art, who make amazing products, and you know there's just like an overwhelming amount of people being taken advantage of.
Right.
And even like indirectly being taken advantage of because if you sign a contract for 5 years, you know, not everyone really understands what 5 years looks like at a moment where your life is like on a turning point. You weren't living this life 5 years ago, you were living it, you just started living it 2 days ago. So you have no frame of reference or any kind of blueprint on exactly what it's all going to mean. But best believe that I'm not making art this good. I'm not curating experiences this good just so I could stay fucking local for the rest of my life. Like I'm making sure I do everything I need to do to get some investors in here because truthfully be honest, I do way too much fucking shit to just try to be fucking I don't personally I don't fucking care about being organic or independent or attaching any of these different things to my identity. That's the issue that these motherfuckers like to play is attaching this shit to your identity. I don't give a fuck if I'm an independent artist, a signed artist, and is my heart okay? Is my mental okay? Do I have enough money to put food on the table? How many people did I hurt to get here? You know, different shit
Right.
like that. Not compromising this shit.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I know a lot of people will tend to value like, you know, the liberty and like, you know, just being able to like be in control of like their creativity with their music. A lot of people like value that over like say like the money side or like whatever deal or contract it may be. But that's really interesting.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, why would I sacrifice 100 like a majority of my ownership on some music? Like the thing is I know I'm smart enough to go get the fucking bag. If I know I'm smart enough to go get the fucking bag, I'm willing to wait a little bit longer than the next guy to fund my own enterprise, you know? And if I can fund my own enterprise, that doesn't mean that I need to put up every 100% of the capital. That means that I can go find another investor and we can put our capital together. So there's so many different ways to play this investment game, going business to investor and business to business, you know, all in service of business to consumer and my own heart.
Right.
So there's that.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of how much do you know about JPEG Mafia, or if you've
Um,
dived into him a little bit?
Veteran, you know, various different things.
Right.
Yeah.
JPEG Mafia is completely independent. He's not signed to anything. He doesn't work with any other artists. He doesn't work with any other people to get to the point that he's at right now. And I feel like he's a very lucky example of someone that has just stuck completely to himself for fuck knows how long and has made it very far doing something like that. I mean, I read a stat where he said he performed 90, I mean, he produced 91 out of 92 of his own songs. And the other song was a song with Flume that they produced together. So do you ever see yourself doing something like that?
I mean, if that's how it happens, totally. Like, personally, I just don't give a fuck, you know? I'm not saying I don't give a fuck about what you're saying. I'm saying I don't give a fuck how it goes down as long as it goes down on my terms.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, music is just one thing for me. Like, the thing is that although JPEG Mafia is independent, JPEG has a team, has people on salary, and all these various different things. Is he paying them a flat fee? Is he paying them percentages? Is he paying this or that? His manager makes anywhere from 13 to 20% of whatever he brings in a year. So saying someone is an independent artist, you know, it has to stop at some boundary, because at the end of the day, none of us are doing this alone.
Yeah, it's hard to
And
do it
just
yourself.
because, right, and you still need audio engineers and lighting people. You need someone to drive the tour bus and all these different things. So independent artists is just a very simple way of saying, like, your enterprise does not have, it has different contractually about bound investors.
Right.
Everyone has investors in this game. Either all your revenue is coming from your consumers, or it's coming from a whole bunch of different places. Like, there's no need to pitter patter around the fact that, you know, money is moving. No one owns money. Everyone spends it.
Right. What was I gonna? I was gonna say something on that. Yeah, I mean, there shouldn't be like a label on it, just like you were saying. It shouldn't need to be a situation where it's like, oh, I'm this or oh, I'm that in the music industry. Music's music, and then
Right. It goes kind of egotistical as well if you think about it, because when we're thinking about corporations, say I make a new invention and then that invention gets picked up by Apple, or no, not even doing the Apple. Say I make a new invention and I create a startup around it, and I'm going to go pitch around that. Are you going to be like, oh, they're an independent company? Or, oh, they like got this investment from Mark Cuban, so fuck them. Like, it's like, what? No, you're gonna be like, does the product fucking work?
right,
Does the product work? Yes or
exactly,
no? can you pay out your shareholder equity on each balance sheet? Can you do that? All right, then. In the conversation, I don't give a fuck.
Rozotadi,
Play
I
a
feel
different
like
game.
would be a great fit for our accounting department, for leading our accounting department at the Job Hunt LLC. Let's talk about quickly your relationships that you've made in Phoenix music, like Phoenix in general, because I see you as a Phoenix local, but then I also see how you strand out into different artists. And the first one that I want to talk to is dear friend Godsend Tyreek. How would you describe like how things flow with Tyreek, in your opinion?
For motherfucking dog, he been pinging me this entire interview, sending me some stuff for the flyer that we're making for July 21st show. So that's my main confidant. You know, that's my main colleague. If I'm down bad, I talk to him. If he down bad, I talk to him. You know, we all have our own circles,
Right.
but you know, me and him, we come together. You know, me being a free agent the way I am, that's my motherfucking dog. It's my best friend. We go 5 years deep in this bitch.
Right. And June 16th, El Desierto and Floor on stage. We were the second act of the night. For everyone that wasn't there to see that, Tyreek was on the stage the entire time at that show.
My motherfucking dog.
That was just amazing. I was one, it's eye candy for me because I love looking at both of you. And two, I was like, damn, now I can really establish that relationship.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, like it goes deep like that, you know. I'll be throwing events at my crib. You know, we had Jennifer, aka his girlfriend, birthday at my crib. You know, we be having dinner. We used to have dinner every second Thursday. Well, every other Thursday. So right after Music Industry Club, you know, we go back to the crib, cook up a vegan meal and cook up a meat meal, and you know, sit at the dinner table. You know, we'd all just chop it up, sip on some wine, you know, kick it, and then go about our business. You know, it'd be a family affair.
Dang. So yeah, that kind of leads me into my next question, like on the topic of like, you know, like Phoenix music and stuff like that. So give me your thoughts on Color 8.
Oh, those are my motherfucking dogs too. I've known them for going on 5 years as well. So I met them about 4 months after I met Tyreek. And one of the biggest reasons why like I do photography at the level I do photography is because, you know, the night I had met them, I had a camera in my hand. I was borrowing it from a dude in the dorm. And lo and behold, I go to that show at the Secret Garden and I'm taking photos. You know, I'm a young buck with the camera. And I take a photo of Kel. Take a photo of Kel. And I look at that photo and I'm just like, wow, what the fuck? Whoa, I can really do this. And so I get Kel's information, link up with him, send him over the photos, and you know, we just stay in contact. I do Battle of the Bands. They had won the thing, and you know, they're the judges for my shit. So, you know, they're on the panel. So I link up with Lee Water, woo woo woo. So I start entering the underground music scene in Arizona in 2018. And from there, I'm smoking with everybody, chopping it up, shaking hands. We going through life shit. We doing shows and, you know, just falling in love with the same women, falling out of love with the same women. Just, it'd be like that.
Actually, the first interaction that I had with Kel was when I went to First Friday. I mean, as you know, Color 8 and First Friday are like this. I mean, there is a time between 2017, at least like from the first time I saw them, to like I would say like before, like right when COVID hit, that they'd be on that grass patch performing at First Friday every fucking month. And I tried to like go as much as I could just to see them. Like I didn't really care for the rest of First Friday, but I did meet a bunch of these like great people at freshgo.us. I met them, that's cool, but I would go for Color 8. I wanted to go and be in that energy so bad. But one time we brought my brother. You know my brother, you know, like he's the back of your hand probably, but like 10 times lower than that. Me and my brother were in one of the mosh pits that were happening, and my brother picked me up. You know, my brother's 6'6". You know, the dude's fucking massive. He picks me up and just throws me on the floor. And I was like, oh my God. And Kel walks over and he's holding his guitar. He's holding his guitar as such. He looks down, like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hi. No, I'm good. You know, like, I'm okay. But I was like 15 at the time. I was like 15, 16 at the time. It was so long ago. But yeah, he's really cool. And to segue, we know that you, not Cal. This is all of Color 8. I don't know why I thought of him as his own entity for a second, but you and Color 8 opened for another band, Prime Society. What's your connection with Prime Society? Because me and Dean came to that show to see you and Color 8, and we knew nothing about Prime Society. So tell us more about your connection with that.
Yeah, so a year ago exactly, I booked them for a Juneteenth show. But I knew that anybody that I was gonna book, I was playing a long-term game with them. So I originally went to Color 8. Kel was like, "Hey, we won't be available, but our boys Prime Society will be." I'm like, who are these cats? And we moved through the same rooms, but it was just a matter of time till we got on each other's radars. And so I go and do my research. I create the email. I reach out on behalf of Downtown Tempe authorities since I'm the organizer for the show. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, this is how I was going to do it. I'm going to present this opportunity. I'm going to pay my niggas, and this is going to be the start to a very long friendship, partnership, and so forth. I like exactly what they got going on. And so, come to the Juneteenth show, woo, woo, they rock it out. Perfect vibe. We did a great job organizing it. They did a great job performing. So everything worked out beautifully. And from there, we just continued to develop, and, book shows side by side. We had shows together. Had shows January, October, this date, that date.
Right.
But overall, it's just been living life with the bros. I've had Jordan J. Reed on my own podcast. He's the bassist, and we all go to the band crib down in South Phoenix and just be playing Tekken and shit. We all just be eating and living life. That's what we do outside of the work. Is we're friends as well. So we see the world.
And I saw one of their most recent Instagram posts saying, that a year ago today, I think the post actually was from today. A year ago from today, they had their first show. I mean, that's breathtaking to see like how far they've come. I mean, they were headlining at Rebel Lounge, and they played at the Suns Arena. Are you fucking kidding me? Who plays at the Suns Arena after 1 year, only 1 year of making music? I mean, not making music, performing their music.
I think I think the quote said that the development in the last year has been on the up and up. They haven't been performing for a year, because when I met them, they had already did Burning Man and they already did Club Aura and a few different other venues prior to that point. So this has been this is a long-term hustle with Jay Reed and them. Like Jay Reed, the fucking brains on that guy is amazing, So but over the last year, all of our careers have just been, and so it's insane. Like that post, I saw that post today, and I'm just kind of, when the news picked up the show that I had organized and they put Prime on the fucking news, I was like, I fucking did it. Like I fucking won. Like I am on the news. My team is on the news. My friends are on the news. Like I did it. How many people can say that their work is on the news, their work is on the radio, their work is on magazines being distributed to all of Arizona? Like how many people can say that at the age of 22? And it was just like, one, it was a testimony to them being able to get the job done, testimonies to Color 8 having just such a robust network and so forth. But bringing it back to me, I was just so happy as a professional. Like, fuck, look, Ma, look, like,
look what the fuck we just did.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Dean, do you have any final questions that you want to ask before we start talking about the hiring process?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment. I remember, I
Can I make
believe
a
it was
drink?
probably, hey, go crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
I'm
gonna
listening.
say, oh, you're listening? Okay, good. I remember, I think I remember seeing Color 8 in person for the first time. I think it must have been 3.5 years ago
3.5 years
Yeah.
at First Friday.
First Friday.
It was at a First Friday show,
Yeah.
and
No, they've
I
been
was
hustling.
really impressed.
Color 8 really fucking does that shit.
I know,
Like,
but again, like you were saying earlier, Alex, is like they're out there like on the first Friday of every month at every First Friday, just right, like they were right there in that same spot. And then like I just remember like seeing them on like every First Friday we would go to, and then we saw them live at like Rebel Lounge, and I was just like, wow, like that's crazy. That's like the same band right there.
yep.
You know,
And
it's
I
just
think
like
it was so different seeing them in a concert setting, just as like you see like the
yes,
structure of the show. Holy
yes,
fuck,
exactly.
dude. Yeah, we're moshing at that thing. I mean, I know
Well,
the Job Hunt LLC is like very business casual, but we moshed like a motherfucker at
it-
First Friday.
exactly. But yeah, like but just like for them to actually like be part of like a more, I would say Rebel, like them performing at Rebel Lounge is a little more of like an organized event, because it's like an actual like concert venue. Just something that's like a little more like planned for that, where they can like plan out all the songs, and it's not just like, oh, like you're talking to like people like in between songs and stuff like you would at like First Friday and stuff like that. Just
Right.
for them to like go and do that whole performance is like really cool to see. It was really interesting to see that transition.
Right. Yeah. I think that one of their strongest qualities is their improvisational, acumen. Um, what I fucking love about where we're all at right now is like, one, we're all like top tier. Like everyone is in their own bag right now between like, so when you look at Rozotadi, you're not looking at just this black boy from Indiana. You're looking at a team of people behind me. You're looking at the Cosmic Liberation Front, the live band that I perform with. You're looking at, new media designers and illustrators and creative directors, all these different folks behind me. And the same goes for my peers, my brothers. It's like where we're at right now, it just makes us so excited for where we're about to go and like how close knit that we're all getting. It's like we're all in each other's ears, just constantly improving and like, if you put this on your taxes, you'd be able to get this back, right? Hey, you shouldn't let that person talk like that because that's going to come around and bite you in 3 years. You got to be careful with that. We need to shut that down right now. So we're like that with each other, and all I can say is that kind of camaraderie. That's what like saves people.
Right.
Like I personally, I have a therapist. And so that helped edge out a lot of the shit that I was going through when I felt alone before I had this kind of camaraderie after leaving the rap group I was in. But now that like I'm all good and then I have such a great friend group who all cares about shit at the same level of intensity that I do, I feel so at place. I always have a place to go. I always have brothers to talk to.
Right. And that camaraderie, I feel like, is super important in a industry that's this competitive.
Yeah, we're also mad competitive as well. Like we don't play like that. Kel's a boxer. The way that Emmett is on the drums, the way that Jeremiah, my drummer, is on the drums, like these fucking people. We're running a military campaign on Arizona right now, and it's the best way to put it. Like, so sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Who's really the top of the Arizona underground scene right now? It's like you guys don't even need to say anything, but just show that you're there and you get the recognition. I mean, it's crazy because I brought my friend Harrison. You've never met Harrison Rozotadi. Actually, I think you did. You met Harrison at the show with Tyreek, Nizahir, and Prime Society at the Underground. He was like a
Yeah,
little taller
Zaire.
than me, long hair.
Yeah.
And God, he said the exact same thing I said the first time I saw Prime Society. I was like, God, I don't know who the fuck these guys are, but something about their music and something about their character and the way they are as people immediately makes me want to like come back to their music. And I feel like I could say that about you. I can say that about Color 8. I can say that about Tyreek. I can say that about Zahir even. I saw him for the first time when he performed with Tyreek. And I can very boldly say that was Prime Society. Because, yeah, I mean, I ran back to that concert, the Prime Society concert. I ran back to that shit after seeing them for the first time.
Some crazy shit that's happening right now. You know, like that's why I'm not worried. Like I've spent the last 11 years developing this career. I'm 23 years old. I'm going to be okay. And I know that my peers are going to be okay. Like there's enough room for all of us.
Right.
I'm happy as fuck.
In the end of the day, I'm gonna listen to all of your guys' music. So, hey, what's really going on, you know? But
yeah, because we're all in the studio with each other too. So it's like you think you're really listening to Prime, but you're listening to like 8 other motherfuckers.
Everyone.
Yeah.
You see that video of them singing Frank Ocean? Were you there when that happened? I think they were singing Pink and White. Was it Pink and White? But they put that video on their Instagram of all of them singing. I thought that shit was hilarious.
Probably. I don't know. We have so many different moments that it's like, I don't know. Oof.
All right.
I get the job.
Well, that's exactly what we're about to get to. I think it's safe to say that me and Dean have telepathically come to an agreement. We're gonna put you on a contract, and we're gonna put you on our accounting team, since you know how to crunch those numbers and you know how to talk to people and you're good with like all the business. You'll be directly referring to Dean. But yeah, Rozotadi, the coolest motherfucker in all the Phoenix Valley, and ex-Apple specialist. You have to quit that job, by the way. It's part of the contract.
I haven't been in that job position since March, so joke's on you.
Well, then you meet all the qualifications. You're hired, Rozotadi.
Talk about being prepared.
Nah, he knew he was getting the job. And we're a big fan of Rozotadi at the Job Hunt LLC. Everyone, I'm here with Mr. Dean Machine this time, but his real name is Dean. And most importantly, I'm here with Rozotadi. Thank you everyone for watching. Please comment, please share, please do whatever the fuck you do with the YouTube video. Have a good night.